Hey guys, welcome back to Hanging Out with Lori. How are you today? I am excited for today. Today is a special Get Ready With Me. This is in honor of CRPS Awareness Month. Sorry about that. I'm putting my hair into pigtails. And I am doing this with a couple of my friends. If they're able to do this, I'm hoping that they'll be able to post. But it's a collaboration just to talk about, to bring awareness to CRPS, and just to spread the word of what CRPS is. CRPS is not well known. In fact, I have been to the hospital before and the doctors have not known what CRPS was. I kid you not. And they even gave me a printout after they looked it up. So I'd know what it was. I'm very well aware what CRPS is. I was diagnosed with it in 2015, about a year after I was first injured. And so when I went to the hospital and was told what it was by the doctor who didn't know, I found that funny. CRPS stands for Complex Regional Pain Syndrome. It used to be known as RSD or Reflex Sympathetic Dystrophy, but nowadays it is called CRPS. It's called Complex Regional Pain Syndrome because A, it is complex. Not just in that it has multiple variables, what I call subsymptoms of the disease itself, but also it strikes different parts of the body. It can move, it can jump to different parts, and so it's a booger. It's a booger. The color for CRPS is orange, and so I'm going to do an orange look in honor of CRPS. Now, I may at some point put a jacket on because it's cold here. We're supposed to get hit by a lot of snow. So it's chilly in my house. Very chilly. I'm just using my Ulta eye primer. I like it, and I'm just using my camera as my mirror because I don't have one. I need to get a new one, so I'm hoping I'm getting everything. Do you guys like me with my little pigtails? I put my hair in pigtails a week ago. Okay, sorry about that. My phone rang. It was my mom. Because my brother is here. Okay, I am just going to set my primer with my Coastal Scents Revealed Smoky palette. Nothing too exciting, I just want to set that primer. Oh, I do not like this brush. It's very scratchy. It's a Morphe brush. It's their M433. I got it at Ulta. I do not like it. It's very scratchy. Very scratchy. So, back to my pigtails. I did it a week ago because my hair was really bothering me during a flare. And a flare is when my nerves go insane. That's the thing about CRPS. Your nerves are always on edge. And a flare means that they're out of control. They, you no longer have them in check via medication or biofeedback. However, you are able to keep your nerves under control, your nervous system under control. No longer are they in check, and so you go into a flare, which is extremely painful. And I don't use that word lightly because pain, is truly subjective. Everybody feels pain differently. The sad thing about CRPS is they have rated it as the highest, as the most painful event on the, I think it's called the McGill pain scale. And so for me, if I'm in the worst pain ever, for me, I call it a 15, not a 10, a 15. And that's because I no longer have control over it. I'm chasing the pain. Regardless that, I'm doing everything I can, I cannot get it under control. Okay, I am going to use my Inglot single eyeshadow. Can you guys see that? It is is it called a tri-toned? I don't know. I love this. They call it a rainbow eyeshadow, and this is number 108. It is their orange, and I just think it's gorgeous. I have quite a few of these. Well, not quite a few, like 5 maybe, and I just love them. And I'm going into the lightest shade here just to put it into my crease, or at least start to put it into my crease. And so for a flare, for me to say it's a 15, that's when I can't do much. I'm barely functioning. I tend to sit naked because I do not want anything to touch me. I was diagnosed with CRPS after a minor injury. I got hurt. My wrist and hand got hurt, and within a couple of weeks, you could not touch me. It was probably even a week. I was doing physical therapy, and they couldn't touch me. There was no way for them to work with my hand because it was out of control, pain-wise. And it took me 11 months to get diagnosed. They definitely test you for everything but CRPS when you trying to rule out everything. CRPS is kind of that last test they do. Even though the hand surgeon wrote in his report he was concerned that I had CRPS, I went through so many different tests before they finally did the test and was able to diagnose it. It's a multi-tiered way in how they diagnose you. It's not just, you have a cold and they say you have a cold. No, you have to go through, they have to check off multiple boxes on for you to have a positive CRPS result. The final test that you do, you stand in a freezing cold room in your underwear and they watch your body temperature to see how your body regulates heat and cold. Now, one thing about CRPS is the cold hurts. It hurts really, really bad. And so what you would think would not be that much of a big deal, standing in a room in your underwear, kind of basically a bikini, your underwear and bra if you're a female. And it's probably low 50s maybe that they keep it. For a normal person, that would be uncomfortable. For someone with CRPS, it's extremely painful, and you have to stand still. You can't move, you can't cover any of your body parts, to try and warm them. So like my hand and arm, I couldn't tuck them in to protect them, which was my natural inclination to do so. And it's an extremely painful experience, but it is one of the coolest things to see how your body is regulating, hot and cold. However, it was also extremely scary because my hand and arm turned black. That's as cold as it can get. That's the lowest it can get. It goes through different colors, showing the temperature, average that it's in. Okay, I'm going to take this middle shade and I am just going to build up that lighter orange. And when my hand and arm, my fingertips turned black first, and then my hand did, and then my arm turned black, it freaked me the heck out. I knew that black wasn't a good sign. I knew that because I could see the color scale on the side of the computer. But just seeing, visually seeing that your body cannot regulate the temperature in your arm or whatever body part it is, it makes the light bulb go on. You've known for months that something was wrong, something that people really looked at you and, like you're faking it, really not believing that this horrific pain you're in is just made up. It's just in your head. Having that validation of your hand turning black, it freaks you out, but it also, you finally have an answer. That was 11 months later. So for me, if you catch CRPS early, you have a chance of kind of not stopping it, not curing it, because there is no cure for CRPS, but kind of being able to rein it in and keep it under control. By the 11-month mark, mine was pretty full-blown, and it quickly spread into my shoulder, my chest, and back, neck, and up into my head. So, because of that, when I flare, I can flare in that region on my right side, or I can have full body flares where my whole body goes on fire. And when I say on fire, I literally mean I swear that I have been lit on fire, because that's what it looks like, or that's what it feels like, excuse me. And so, oddly enough, when I'm in a really bad flare, I tend to sing "This Girl Is on Fire" because that's how I feel. CRPS, there's a lot of different things with it. Your skin gets mottled where it is discolored. You can have odd hair growth, fast hair growth, slow hair growth. Your nails, if it affects your hands, your nails can grow out weird. And my nails did when I first got CRPS. They're okay now, the way they look, but they weren't at first. As for modeling, I do model, especially if I'm cold. I have discoloration in my arms or in my arm, and so I try to keep my arms covered up when it gets like that, because, well, people look at you weird. But people have looked at me weird since the beginning. I remember trying to describe the pain, the shooting pain. It felt like a hot wire was going through my finger, and it didn't matter. I'm just using that one as an example. Through my finger and all the way up my arm. It literally felt like someone was shoving a hot wire through me. And it takes your breath away. Now, once you start to get it under control, I have been blessed with an awesome doctor who really has worked hard to get it under control. Okay, I'm going to take this darker orange, and I am just going to put a little bit on the outside, but mostly into the crease because, well, I don't want it too dark there. Anyways, he has worked hard to get my CRPS manageable. It doesn't go away. There's no cure, like I said, for CRPS, but he has worked hard to make it manageable for me, but yet I still have flares no matter how hard you try. You have flares. And when I broke my foot this summer, not just I, but we were so worried that it would spread, and unfortunately it did. And I had forgotten how painful CRPS is when you first get it. That take your breath away moment that comes out of the blue. It doesn't matter what you're doing. It just hits you full force. It's like a punch in the gut. That you just, there's nothing you can do about it. And I had forgotten how painful CRPS is when you first get it. Once you get it, kind of managed, it's still painful. And you still have bad flares. But that pain of what it was like when you first got it has kind of, regressed in your mind. It's there, or what it used to be like, but you've kind of forgotten it, kind of like childbirth. Your mind remembers what it was like and it's thinking, what in the heck are you doing this again for? But you still do it because, you remember, but you don't. Or it's worth it to have those sweet little babies. Well, I knew how bad CRPS was, but I had forgotten how painful CRPS was. Okay, I am going to okay, you guys have to bear with me as I do this, okay? I am going to take my blood sugar palette. I am going to put just a little bit of red into my look because red represents fire. Your body's on fire with CRPS. And so I am going to take this one right here and this one. And they are, this one is cherry soda and this one is blood sugar. So when I was thinking about what kind of look I wanted to do for CRPS, I wanted to do something that represented how CRPS feels to me, plus the color of of CRPS. And CRPS to me is fire and ice. I'm in lots of extreme amount of pain from the fire, but my hand and arm is ice cold. And so is my foot now. So back to how when you first get it, You have these shooting pains that take your breath away. You have, oh, I have a mirror here. I can use this. I'll use this. Or I'll use this. I keep forgetting where the camera is. Nothing can touch it. I mean, it hurts for anything to touch your skin, be next to your skin. Since my diagnosis, not just my diagnosis, since my injury, I am so picky about what kind of fabrics I wear. I can only wear certain types of fabrics now. Where I never was like that. Never like that. I mean, I don't like lace, but I wasn't picky about, the type of fabric I wear. I can only sleep with a light blanket on, and it has to be those light fleece blankets, so they're not overly warm. They're just kind of there, so I'm not really warm. I sleep with a blanket wrapped around my top to actually specifically keep my upper half warm instead of pulling a blanket all the way up. I sleep with a separate blanket specifically around my upper half. Okay, I'm hoping this works. So when it hit my foot, I knew right away. And I kept on telling my doctor, I think it has, but I'm being positive and saying it hasn't hit. I was trying to wish it away is basically what I was trying to do. It was on fire. We had it wrapped inside the air cast, and my orthopedic surgeon said, you can take that off. You don't have to wear it. He knew I had CRPS, and so, we were doing everything in our power to keep me from getting it. But when that bandage started getting so out of control painful, where I couldn't get that pain under control, when I started having those shooting pains that shot from the tip of my toe all the way up into my knee, when my leg went numb from tip to thigh, from the tip of my toe to my thigh, I knew I had it. But what sealed it was those shooting pains that took my breath away. I knew right then that I was screwed. Sorry for the language, but it's true. That's really how I felt. I knew that, there was nothing we could have done to have prevented it. I was already on my medication for my other, for my arm. So it jumps when I say it can move from limb to limb. It is so true. Now, subsymptoms of CRPS are not fun. They can be generic subsymptoms, and they can be a lot worse. Mine is I now have high blood pressure, high cholesterol. That is, I look like I have cat ears on my eyeballs. What else do I have? I gotta put this in. I have anxiety, horrific anxiety, and my PTSD has reared its ugly head. Here, I said, my PTSD is fine. I have it under control. And the doctors literally laughed at me, and they said, well, no, not really. It has come back, but for a different reason. My body's under attack, and so it has come back to try and protect me. That's kind of what, at least in my case, that's what PTSD did. It was kind of my way, my my mind and body's way of protecting me from what was happening. And so it's come back, and it's trying to protect me from something even I can't protect me from. I can't remove myself from the situation. I can't, do any of those things that I was taught to do to handle my CRPS, my PTSD. All those tools that were in my toolkit no longer worked because my PTSD was totally different. My anxiety is totally driven a lot by my pain, but also by my circumstances. I feel very I don't know what word I'm looking for. I don't know what what I feel. Does that answer that question? I am going to take a very small brush, and I'm going to take the same smoky palette from Coastal Scents, and I am just going to tap into that black. That black is to represent the color of my arm, that my arm turned when I had my CRPS test. Just basically deepening up this outside, and my eye watered because I was about to cry. So I'm not going to put a lot of black on, but I'm hoping to put a little more than what's going on at the moment. I just want to deepen up that outside. So that is my story of CRPS, how I got it, where it is on my body, how it is actually migrated into different parts of my body, how blessed I am for that, and how it affects me, not just physically with the pain and the burning and that kind of stuff, but how it mentally messes with me. Since moving to Wyoming, my anxiety has actually gotten worse. I did not see that coming whatsoever, but it has, and that stresses me out a lot. There's a lot of things I can't do. I can't do anything that involves any type of vibration. I can't do anything that involves heavy lifting. What else can I not do? I can't squat. Those kinds of things. I couldn't do it before I broke my foot. Now I really can't do it. But my balance, my vertigo, I've always had vertigo, but my vertigo is worse now that I have CRPS than it was growing up. Growing up with vertigo. It definitely is much worse, so I fall a lot. That's kind of how I broke. It's not kind of how it is how I broke my foot. I was standing at the bathroom sink washing my face, and the next thing I came to hours later, and I couldn't stand up. I don't remember anything other than I was washing my face, and that happens. They have tried so many different things, because there's lots of different treatments that they try to do to, help you manage your CRPS. And every single thing we have tried Nothing has worked. Okay, I am going to take my ColourPop Super Shock Shadow, and this is in the shade Lightning Bug. I have a lot of oranges, but I like this one the best. Maybe. We'll see. I might go with a darker shade, but right now I'm going with Lightning Bug. And I am just going to put it on this part that doesn't have any coloring. I don't talk about this to say, you know, my woe is me, my life is horrid, I have the most painful disease, that, you know, that they have documented. This is all about awareness because it really is unknown. I know two people whose family member has CRPS. They were diagnosed with RSD, but their family member has or had CRPS. And my heart goes out to all caretakers because we are difficult. I don't want to call us sufferers because I like to think of us more as warriors because we're fighting hard. But we are difficult because we're no longer the same person that we used to be. Pain changes you. It doesn't matter what kind of pain you have. If you're in constant pain, it changes you as a person. It changes your personality. And so my heart goes out to those who are caretakers of us. I may have it, but I don't know if I could be a caretaker of someone with CRPS. That's just being honest. That's just being honest. We have a horrible nickname. Our disease does. CRPS does. It's called the suicide disease because there is no cure for it. The treatments that they have for it, you know, they're not long lasting. They may bring you some relief, but it's not constant relief. Okay, I'm not liking lightning bugs, so I am going to put Let Me Pass just in the middle here. But it's called the suicide disease because nothing works. And, you know, some can only take the pain for so long until they say no more. And it breaks my heart because I don't think anybody, whatever condition you have, deserves a label, you know, that puts in your mind that, you know, sooner or later you're going to take your life. Nothing has worked for me. I have tried so many different things. I've had blocks and those didn't work. I've tried a ketamine infusion. That was a nightmare. That was the last time I went to the ER for CRPS. I've never gone back because there's really nothing they can do for you. As, you know, because your pain's out of control. You've gotta ride the wave is basically how I see it. Whether you want to or not, you don't have an option. So let me finish my face and I'll be back. All right, guys, I am back. I have actually done my full face. I was just kind of in the groove and did it, and then I was like, oops, but I didn't do my lips. I'm not quite sure what to do on my lips. I have two different colors here. But before we do them, I wanted to say thank you if you've made it this far into the video, for listening to me. This went a little bit different than I had envisioned in my mind. I thought I would tell you all these facts about CRPS with a little side note of me in there, and it turned out I talked more about me, and I didn't even give you everything about me that I deal with. And so I hope you learned something about CRPS. I will leave the link down below to if you are interested in learning more about CRPS, CRPS awareness. The link will be down below. There might actually be two, because there's a couple of sites that I think are very, very informative if you would like to check them out. Know that we are all fighters. Anybody who battles chronic pain, they have no choice but to be a fighter. But this month just happens to highlight CRPS, and it's not pretty. So let's talk about my eyes before we do my lips. I told you I wanted to incorporate the colors of how CRPS makes me feel and how it makes me look. And so I used black because my hand turned black. I used red because I'm on fire. I used orange because that is CRPS awareness color. And I used blue as an eyeliner. I first went in with my Koki Cosmetics eyeliner. I love this eyeliner. It's extremely creamy. I wish I had more. I don't even know where I got this. But that blue I put on underneath because it wasn't quite the blue I wanted. I put it underneath, and then I put DTLA by ColourPop on top of it, and I really like the color I came up with. There, you can see it right there. It's not so navy, but it's a little bit brighter. I really like it. And then I took DTLA down along my not my waterline, but my lash line just a little bit and smudged it out. I used my Dose of Color Romance eyeliner. This is a beautiful burnt orange. I used it on the inner part of my lid down to close to my waterline. I do not like down to my waterline, down to my inner corner. I do not like this in the waterline because it does make me look like my eyes are bleeding. So I didn't put it there, but I wanted to wear it somewhere. So I put it on top down to the inner corner, but then I also used it in the middle here, right along here, to kind of add some extra color to that blue and help smoke it out some. But I was very careful on that bottom lash because, again, I didn't want it to make me look like I was bleeding. And then I think this is Get Paid. It's a rose gold type of shade, almost, but more bronzy. I can't remember exactly what the shade, but I put that in my waterline, and I really like it. It really kind of tied the bottom with the top. I was going to go with a nude, but then I decided to use this shade. Now, on my cheeks, I don't usually tell you what I'm wearing on my cheek. This is where Lori wasn't sure, but Lori took her Coastal Scents Blush 2 palette, and I just finally repressed this blush that was broken in here, so I've been able to... Oh, one of them fell out. I am so glad it didn't break. This was not the one, but obviously it's loose. But I used this orange blush on my cheeks. I was very light-handed with it, but it still kind of is a poppin'. I went and looked in the bathroom to see if, I looked like a, made-up doll, but it wasn't as bad as I thought. And then I took this shade right here. That orange one does not have a name by Coastal Scents. It's just in their Blush 2 palette. But I took this one right here. It's called Honeymoon. And I just put it on top of my blush just to help lighten it up some. And I really like the kind of sheen it gave it. I believe this is a Makeup Geek blush, but I could be wrong. It doesn't say on the back, so if I am wrong, I apologize. I took my Laura Geller Peach Glow as my highlighter. I wasn't sure about this. I thought about using, like a champagne or a gold. But when I first put it on, I was very careful and I really liked it. I think it's very pretty. I think it really goes nicely with my look. Wasn't sure, but I really do like it. And then on my eyes, I took my Orange You Glad palette and I tapped Tangerine Dreams. It's this one right here. I tapped it. Is that the one? Yeah. I tapped it on my lid because I wasn't liking my Super Shock shadows there. There was just something about them I did not like. So I put that on there, and then I took my Peach Glow, put it in my inner corner and pulled it up just a skosh onto my lid, and I like the look. I think it looks a little more complete than it did, not as dramatic as it was looking. So yeah, I think it turned out okay, but we got to put lips on. Now my brother is here, and so I had him help me pick out some lips. The one he liked was by Almay called I Am Happy. I'm going to leave my glasses on for a second. It is just kind of a softer orange. It's not quite peach. Well, yeah, it's not quite peach. It's just a softer orange. And then I pulled Revlon's Toast of New York. It's a brown. And I swatched quite a few. So those are the lips that I'm not quite sure. So we're going to go with the orange and see how it looks. I trust him. He usually has pretty good taste, so I do trust him on this. So let's try it. It might be a little too much for this look. We'll see. And I don't have like an orange gloss, which he thought was highly surprising. Okay, that is really pretty, but it's not going. We're going to put Toast of New York over the top just to see if that helps some. I don't know. What do you guys think? It took me a minute to like it, but I actually do like it. Weirdly enough. We're going to try one other thing on it though. I pulled my Ulta Beauty Lip Plumping Transforming Lip Gloss, and it's in the shade Ethereal. I don't know. don't know how it's going to work. But I kind of like that it has the shine. So, and it kind of looks like my eyes, maybe. So we'll see. I don't know if it hurt or helped. Okay. Well, we're done playing with the lips. That is my lip. All right, so I'm done playing with the lips. I'm not a fan of them, but I'm not gonna go change them either. Let's see what this whole look looks like. I love wearing my hair in pigtails. The only thing is it kind of kills my curls. That's okay though. So that is my look for this Chatty CRPS awareness. Get ready with me. Go check out the others who are doing this. I will have their links down below. Hopefully they are able to get them up. I know some of them, at least one of them isn't sure that she can get it up, but go check them out. I give them a special thanks for doing this. If any of you have CRPS, have loved ones who have or have suffered from CRPS, if you've been a caretaker of someone with CRPS, if you want to know more about CRPS, please feel free to reach out to me either here on Instagram or via my email. I am always happy to talk to anyone who is looking for support through, even chronic pain. It doesn't have to be CRPS. This is the reason why I actually started my channel, was to reach those who are battling pain, who are helping take care of those who are battling pain. And so feel free to reach out to me. I know this was a long video, but I appreciate you sticking in with me. You guys take good care of yourself. Please take good care of yourself. Be safe, and I will see you on the next one.